Hey, welcome to Tim's Workshop. Out here in the mini barn today. Going to start taking this Mercury Mark 10 apart. You start sanding it down, getting it ready to paint. So what we're going to do is clean up this mess. Okay, and I'm going to put the Mercury Mark 10 up on the table. First of all, the Mercury Mark 10 over here, and I'm going to pull the head off while it's upright. And then once I get the head off, I think I'll take the handle off too. Just a couple screws here. Disconnect that handle off of there, because it's going to have to be sanded and painted too, so I might as well do that off the motor. Anything else I could take off, like the prop, you know. With the engine off, I could paint the motor individually. Because it's going to be a different color than what I'm going to paint the cowling anyway. I believe. I don't know. I haven't really decided yet. We'll see. There is quite a few things that it'll be easier to get in there and clean. And not only that, underneath there's a gasket in between the motor and the lower cowling to the exhaust. There's a gasket in there that needs to be replaced. So we're going to do that too. I got one screw out. Let's get this one out. Screws in the little tray I got going over there. Okay. Fold that up, and then you can push the nut plate through. See that? That's kind of what holds the handle on there in position, and then you put the nut plate in, and then the screw goes on the outside. So you don't want to lose those. So once I push this one in, and you can get to it, you hold your finger on it so it doesn't go falling out. And then you push it, and then once it's loose, like that, get it out of there, and then this will just come right out. See that? Pretty easy. This just slides over the this little piece here, and that's what turns it back and forth. Got the handle off. Alright, so a cotter pin, fuel hose, 6 nuts. The bolts are actually part of the head, so that's nice. And you just have nuts and I believe washers on the bottom. It should be lock washers, what they should be. And I had one bolt that wasn't tightening, or because I tightened all of them up, they were loose. I had one bolt I couldn't churn, so I sprayed it with PB Blaster a long time ago, but I never took that nut off yet. So we're going to try it, but if it acts like it's going to be stubborn, we're going to heat it up, the nut up, and see if we can get it off without breaking that stud. Because that would be bad. That would make a bunch more work than we really need. I got my needle nose pliers here. Oh, this isn't this is just a slip pin. Pretty cool, huh? Well, that was easy. Just like that. Now I just got the fuel line on the other side. I'm gonna have to turn the motor around to do that though. I got the middle one off. That's all it is, just a nut. It should have like a washer on it too. I haven't got underneath there to really look that close. But and this back one, this back nut, that's the one that's froze up on there. So that's the one we're going to heat up to get it off of there. And then I can't get to this this nut over here, but I can if I turn the motor. And now I should be able to get to it. Maybe. Well, no. got to use a 11 millimeter open end wrench to get to that. So we're going to do that. Then I'm going to get the other side, get the 2 bolts that I can get, and then get the combo open end wrench on that forward nut over there. And then we'll have everything except for the fuel holes. All right. Well, I got the last nut off, except for the one I got to heat up. I'm going to do that after we get this line off of here. So let's do that. Let's get this line off. Not millimeter. I keep forgetting this is standard. This is standard. This is a 9/16. I should hold that there. I have this, the universal wrench. That'll work. There we go. There we go. Okay. Just got to heat up that one nut now. We have just the thing for that. All right. Let's fire this thing up. All right. Hit it with PB blaster. Get this moves now. Yeah. Well, moving. I might be pulling the whole stud out, but we'll see. If it is, then we'll deal with that later. I don't know. I think I did it. I think that's still hot. Not really. PB blaster cooled it off. Did it. It's off. The stud's still there. Yay! Let's see if this head will come off. I'm going to have to take a look at the book a little closer, see how this comes apart. Back at it here. I went and looked at the PDF file for the Mercury Mark 10 that I have on my phone. It's like to remove the head assembly off the lower cowling. Don't have to worry about the flywheel. The carburetor has to come back off, so that means I have to disconnect the hose here. And then this mechanism over here has to come off too, because the pin's going into the transmission hole for the handle, for the tiller. So in order to get to these screws to pull the whole assembly out, you have to take the carburetor back off. So we're going to do that. And then once the carburetor and the tiller handle transmission assembly's removed, the cover plate down below here, let me move the camera here. This cover plate down here that has 3 screws in it, we have to disconnect that, take that cover plate off, and the shift shaft that goes, it's in the actual head assembly, and goes down and connects down here to the lower unit. You have to pull the pin on it, and then when you pull the head out, the shift shaft comes with it. So it's a little bit more to it than I originally thought. I didn't know the shift shaft was part of the head assembly, so we got to get it out. Okay, so I got the 3 screws out of the transmission mechanism here. In order to get this middle screw out of here, just turn this lever, the start, run, idle lever. Just turn it a little bit so you can get on it. And then use a big Phillips screwdriver, right? And use a pair of pliers on it to help turn the thing, break it loose. And so now we got it loose. So will it come out? Let's see. Looks like I got more stuff to take off of here. Looks like I got to pull this off. So it's got 2 square head bolts in it, and pop this off, and I think that's about it. Yeah, this lever's got to come off with this. So I got this mechanism kind of unplugged from the transmission. I didn't get it all the way out. I just got the pin out of the motor so I can lift it up. So, and I think that's it. There we go. And I got the shift shaft disconnected down below. There we go. Off with the head. Yay, there's that shift shaft. Put it over here for now. Well, you can see there's the drive shaft right there. Little rubber hose, you know, for the water to come up through. And you can see the gasket is, this is where it was leaking, right here. Well, you can see why. Gasket's all torn to pieces. So yeah, we'll clean that up. Oh, this comes out just like that. It's too bad figure out how to get this thing apart. Oh, I see. So there's like a little pin here that goes in there, a drive gear in there that moves this thing back and forth. What it does, it pushes this pin back and forth for pushing it in the gear and out of gear. So yeah, it's got a spring on it, spring loaded. So we'll make sure we get that all back together. I wish I could. I'm going to figure out how this thing comes apart. Make it easier to take off and put back on, that's for sure. Continuing on with this Mercury Mark 10, let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what I got going here. So in the last part of this video you saw me get the head off, and there was the shift rod was connected to it. Well, once I got it up here on the workbench and looked at, there was just a cotter pin holding the rod on. So I took it off to keep it from getting bent up. It needs to be cleaned up. It's all kind of rusty, and so we'll get that all cleaned up nice before we put it back on. And then we'll put a new cotter pin in here. I saved the little washer that goes on first, and then put that on there. That way it's not too loose, sloppy. Got the gasket off. So looks like there's just this piece here that's missing. So I can make a new gasket, and I got a template here that I can make. When I make this, I could put it on there and do the little hammer trick, except this stuff's in the way, you know, the linkage and these posts. So I think I can use this as a template, and then I saved this one piece, I believe. So the next thing is, in order to replace this fuel line that really needs to be replaced, it's underneath here, right? And there's no way of getting this thing off of that, not where it's at right now. So I took these bolts out, right? But they don't come out all the way. They didn't they didn't make it that way. They got openings here, right? But it doesn't do you any good for getting the bolts out, or this piece here. It's loose, but it won't come up high enough. So what I need to do is take these covers off, pull this piece completely off of here, which I can do. And then that way just the transom in this piece is left, and then I can replace the hose and put these bolts back in and be good to go. And it'll be easier to sand and paint. I'll have this off. This will be off by itself, so I can do each segment individually. And take the prop off, and it'll be good to go. Okay, so I used PB Blaster, soaking them, use the propane torch, heat those screws up, hit it with the impact reverse driver with the hammer, and got that one loose. The one on the other side, I was able just to tap it and it actually came out. But both this one and the one on the other side, they're both in there pretty hard. Let's heat this one up. Squirt a little bit more of this on there. Okay. Now move the camera so I can get a good swing at it here. Let's see if we can break this one loose. Yep. There we go. That works very well. Very well indeed. Look how corroded that is. So what we'll do is before we put them back in, we'll put anti-seize on those things. I'm going to see if I can pop these covers off before I flip it over here. Got to go to the book, figure out how to do this. I think it takes a tool, but I'm not sure. Alright, so I got on my phone, pulled up the PDF file for the Merc Mark 10 to figure out how to get these covers off. So let me show you what I found. So you take the screws out. Once you have the screws out, these covers are on there. So I was trying to figure out, well, I screwed into here trying to pull the cover off, but then I found out, no, the cover doesn't include this. So I'm going, how do I get that cover off? So I started knocking it around with my screwdriver, right? And it kept spinning, but it wasn't unscrewing, so that wasn't it. So then I just took my knife and just kind of went like that. And whoop, came right out. So now I got the lock ring here, okay, and it's, you know, this plastic cover here is up against this. So I think I have to compress this a little bit, so in order to get it out. Yeah, there we go. I think that's it. Oh yeah. Now there we go. You get that? Okay, now unscrew this thing. I think I'll do that first. I'll get all these covers off, get all the snap rings off, and then I'll work at getting these off last. But you can put a screw in here with a socket that fits over the outside, and then start turning it, and you could pull this piece out with a, I'll have to make my own puller for that. These are larger. These caps and snap rings, these are smaller, these are larger, okay? So I found the best way of getting these caps off is, you can see where it hit right here, because what I was doing with this, the snap rings are easy to get off. When this thing's in there like that, the best way of getting these things out is get a hammer and get your screwdriver started in there, and then pry up on it, and then come over this side, do the same thing, drive this, because and you just pull it out like that, because this part is separate from this part. So when you're driving on it, you're just going in on the top edge of this. You're not hitting the threads here at all. Just want to get in there, right in between there, and don't hit the threads. And then you can pop those caps off, okay? And then the snap rings, once you start, you push them together. Sometimes they'll push together, you can just lift them out. But sometimes you push them together and only one side's coming out. Just get your screwdriver in there and just raise it up and it'll pop out. Okay, so that's how you do that. And then this is the mount, okay, the rubber mount. This part's rubber, this part's not. Okay, this is rubber right here. Okay, the bottom part's not. The rubber's around it. So what that does, it gives it some cushion. When this thing's running, you don't want it vibrating up into the boat, or the boat causing vibration. So this knocks down the vibration from the engine running, which translates to the boat. You know, you want the boat running nice and smooth through the water without vibration from the motor, and this is what takes care of that. Okay, that's what I read in the manual. So this one, I just threaded this in, and I was able to wiggle it and pull it out. You know, this says you're supposed to have a special tool for this, right? Well, this one up here, I did the same thing, screwed it in by hand, and then it's wiggling, right? But it's not coming out. Okay, so what I did is I came up with this, okay, and then put this bolt through here with washers, get it started into it, right? Just like, well, first of all, got to get this threaded on there first. There we go. Okay, hopefully you're getting that. Thread that in. Okay. Now find a wrench. 7/16. Yep. Put that on there. And just keep going until that bushing pops out of there. It's already loose. I could feel it as far as away from this. I want to get it all the way out. Yeah, this works pretty good. I don't know, this might have to straighten this out maybe a little bit to use it to take the oil filter out next time. If not, I could always buy another one. They're cheap. I'm going to continue using this for these kind of projects. I think I can, yep, there we go. Got it out. Yeah, this one's tiny compared to the other one. Alright, now I'm going to flip this over and do the other side. Getting this one out. I'll show you. This one's being stubborn though. Oh, there it comes. Cool. All right. Cool. In case any of you want to know what the part number is, there it is. 1531-1281, it looks like. The lower unit. I gotta take the prop off this thing. Yeah, it's got a part number for every part on here. This one here, 1408-246, it looks like. There it is. Yeah, you pop this pin through here, I believe, and drive this shaft down. You could take this off of this too. I believe that's how it works. Huh. Well, we might do that. I mean, for painting, you want to, if you can, take everything apart so you can get to it. Make a better paint job. You can see the primer on here. See the yellow primer? That's a zinc primer is what that is. And this is the piece that I was having trouble getting off. You can see the bolts coming through. Well, I got it off now. Now, in order to replace the fuel hose, all I got to do is take these two bolts out, and I can pull this whole thing out. And then I could take the nut off this fitting and put a new get a new fitting, put it on there, and hopefully it fits in between here like this one does. I'll have to measure it, make sure, but yeah, cool. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, by the way, the other piece of gasket I thought I threw in the trash, it's right here. I'll peel it off with my knife. Well, let's see, where's the flashlight? What did I do with it? There it is. Okay, so we got a nut in there. We want to get that nut off and put the 2x4 up here to wedge it in. Okay, let's see, what size do we need here? 5/8. Yep. Alright, now we just need a there we go. That wasn't hard. Okay, got that off. I think there's a washer there too. There's a washer, a nut. See on this end. This bushing goes in the, this is called the thrust bushing. It rides against this, so it spins, and so it just needs to be cleaned up. So does this. Rubber looks okay. Took a punch and drove this through. It's a split pin, so the tension is when it expands in there, and that's what has the tension on it. Otherwise it would fall out. So you use a punch, drive this through. Neighbor's doing something. And then you just drive this pin through. So I got to find something that is long enough that'll do that. 3/8. Yeah, I think that'll work. Hey, buddy, quiet. Okay, now I'm hitting the bottom, so I got to put something underneath this to drive it through. Let's see, what do I have? I'll put an extension on here. This is too fat though. I need a longer extension 3/8. I think I got one in my other toolbox in the house. Let's see. Do I have one in here? All right. Yay! One. There's two. Three. There we go. One. Two. Three. There's lock. Well, they're not really lock washers, just regular washers. There we go. Yay! This piece comes off too, it looks like. What I really should do is take the arms off and this too. Since I'm going to be painting it, I need to take all that stuff off. And this thing here is not really working that well. It needs to be greased up, so. It looks pretty cut and dry though. I'm going to break this nut loose, take these out. This pin here goes all the way through as well, so you have to put a backup wrench on this side. They're both the same size. And take this, it's a hollow pin that goes through there. It's a swivel pin. Get that out, get everything all painted, greased up, put back together. I think that's the best way of going on this. Pretty much almost a full restore. So I think this is going to be part 2, wrapping up part 2. I'm just going to disassemble whatever needs to be disassembled on this. If there's something I need to show you, I'll explain it to you later on part 3. Part 3 is going to be actual sanding. I actually am going to use super clean, degrease the motors, all the parts, sand it down and ready for primer. All right. So you like the video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up if you like it, let your friends and family know about the videos too. All right, thanks.